So I've changed my tune a little bit about Claude inside of Excel. Previously, I've made a video. You can check it out. I'll post it somewhere on this one. And I basically said, this is good, but not really good enough to use yet. I don't like it. I didn't go into it much more than that. Well, I think it's useful, and I'm going to tell you two things about it. I think it's really useful and powerful to use inside of Excel, but I think it's even more so when you actually still know how to do some Excel stuff to begin with. So for the absolute beginner, you're still going to be wasting all your tokens, especially with Claude, which is very token intensive as far as usage goes, if you're just talking back and forth and getting it to do a bunch of things. That's actually what happened to me when I did my first Excel sheet with Claude, is I ran out of tokens just asking it to build stuff because it was going through an enormous amount of work to do very small, not real complicated things, especially if you just know anything about pivot tables or stuff like that, which granted, a lot of people don't. So let me show you what we're dealing with right here. So I've got this right here. This is the dashboard it created, but let's start over here with the actual data that it's coming from. And I've got some of this grayed out because I'm not supposed to show you. This is my Amazon influencer program commission table, basically, and these are campaigns. And I don't think I'm allowed to show that based on terms of service. So that's why you'll see some grayed out stuff. But this is my actual reporting, and I had a brand that wanted the summary of some of these pieces of information. And I basically said, hey, I'm not allowed to give that to you, but I can create an Excel dashboard. Better yet, let's let Claude create one for us. And so I threw in the download from Amazon, which is this right here, for a 30-day period. And then I gave it one prompt, which is right up here. You can see I'd like for you to use this data in this table to create a dashboard, helpful for brand I'm working with, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't give it a lot of real specific data. And this is what it came up with, which is great. And it did take less time than it would have taken me, and I know a lot about Excel, to build this and make it look this good. Now, maybe not a whole lot less, but the fact that I could I just voice texted into this and just describe what I want, and then I walked away and I made a sandwich, and then I ate it and came back and it was done. That is why this is useful. Now, before you click off, as though that were the summary, and that is the summary, there was one piece that it didn't do that I want to explain a little bit here just momentarily. So what did it build here? It created basically a table which is actually not formatted as a table. So I'm not crazy about that. Apparently it doesn't create tables really well, but it needs to read data from tables to produce this. But that's another video topic for another day. But it created this table-like structure, and it gave me all the summations of everything. But as you can see, well, maybe you can't, up here, let me zoom in, it is using index, sort by, and this junk, and then using the row function, and it's copying and pasting that everywhere. So it's not really using Excel formulas efficiently, in my opinion, but it gets the job done. The problem here is that is copy and pasted all the way down here and all the way over into each of these columns. So it's not the best way to do it. I would prefer a cleaner way to do it. So what I did, and it created some graphs down here, which these are great. This is what I would do too, just a simple little, hey, here's daily click trend, and here's the top 10 campaigns, which again, I got to blur out for you. But these are the top 10 campaigns by clicks. So this is great. But I went in here and I said, hey, you know what? Actually, it doesn't seem like, and here's the text I sent, hey, from A9 to C23, you got formulas copied and pasted. It seems inefficient. Is there a better way to produce this? And as AI models are often want to do, it said, oh yeah, you're absolutely right, Eamon. You're so smart. And then it gave me this huge junk right here, this let statement, followed by, I thought this was hilarious, look at this, or even simpler, just let sort by and HStack spill directly. And then it gave me this, which I don't think this will work in Google Sheets. I don't think we have a HStack, although we might. Double check me on that if somebody knows in the comments. But regardless, it works in Excel, and it's this single line, and sure enough, it worked perfectly. Followed by this single line, which almost worked perfectly. However, this was not in table format, the pieces of information that Claude gave me. So this formula actually broke because it's using these pound signs, which are only applicable when you want to spill the results down inside a legit Excel table. Okay, so scroll down once more, and I finally get to the end that I'm wanting, hey, I'm getting this ref error in G9, reference error. And it said, oh, of course, you're so smart, Eamon. You're right. The spill reference operator only works when you're referencing the spill formula, blah, blah, blah. Fix is simple, gave me this fix. And we can all get these formulas, right? This is just Googling and then piecing things together. But that's kind of the old way to do it, because that is just a little bit longer unless you want to write this out by hand. And sometimes that is the most efficient, where it's just a quick formula, a couple lines long, and you can write it out real quick without prompting for it. But the ease of doing it inside here, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. So I duplicated that dashboard to test out if what it gave me worked. And so I'm using that formula that it gave me. There it is up there. And yes, indeed, it worked just fine. And so that covered all of the data all the way through F9. And then over here in G9 through F23, I'm saying the numbers wrong, G9 through G23, we did the other formula, and it worked perfectly. So it generated the exact information that I needed in really a great usable format. Now, I have created other dashboards using Claude and Excel, and stylistically, yeah, they're going to look, if not exactly like this, really close to it. So it's got a certain style that it will go towards based on the skills that are built into Claude. You can, of course, customize that and provide it with more context, with more color schemes, with more differentiating factors according to your use case and the way you want your reporting to be, and it is more than happy to oblige. I don't really care. This is just for a screenshot, literally, that I was giving to someone via email. Okay, so what about if we had wanted to just do this from scratch? Well, if we do Alt-NVT and just create a pivot table over here, we could pretty much do the same thing. So we can throw in those campaign titles. We can get the ASINs. That's like the serial number that Amazon uses if we wanted. But really, I just want, I don't know, the values of the clicks and the revenue. Let's just put those two things in here right now. And then I want to sort it based on, what do you think? Clicks? Sure. Or actually, let's do revenue. This is how much brands made because of the content that I made for them. We just right-click, sort by largest to smallest. There it is, sorted by revenue. And if we go up here, we want to filter this by values, top 10, and you can actually do what I think it was top 15. Items by the sum of clicks. No, I want the sum of revenue. And then it's going to drop it down into just those top 15 items. So it lacks a few things. I would have to go over here and create kind of those nice headers and use the formatting or something similar to it that Claude created right here with the totals and the summation and then the graphs. But, you know, you can see this is not really rocket science Excel work, but it does save time. And it saves me from sitting here. It just lets Claude do that work, that tedious work for me. And I'll say it again, you need to know how, I think, you need to know how Excel and Google Sheets works. You need to know the basics so that when you encounter stuff like this that just looks kind of ugly and more cumbersome than it needs to be, yeah, sure, it works. But if you have 100,000 rows of data in here, that is not going to be the most efficient way to just copy and paste a formula down. Then if there's a mistake anywhere over here, you delete a line, you're not going to know about it. Whereas if you come over here, well, you can't delete a line. These are literally, it's from that spilling formula up in the top left in A9. So need to still know a few things if you're going to be living in spreadsheets doing this kind of work. Maybe one day we will not. Maybe it will be just all completely automated away from us. But for now, I'm optimistic about using Claude and Excel, and I might even try on PowerPoint sometime too. I haven't used that program in forever. If you would like to see a video on that, let me know in the comments below. If you're curious about some other topic here, let me know down there also. And please sign up for free. I've got an AI-based newsletter down in the comments where I send out stuff like this. I report on the news, the latest stuff that's interesting to me. It's AI strategy and automation for modern businesses and normal people. I think in the reverse order is the way my tagline actually reads. But love to have you over there. Subscribe to this channel if this kind of thing is useful to you, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.